The Cecil Hotel in downtown Los Angeles stood as a grim sentinel, its imposing facade casting a long shadow over the bustling city streets. Built in the roaring 20s, the Cecil had always held an air of faded grandeur, a whisper of more prosperous times. But behind its once elegant walls lurked a darker history, a pattern of unsettling incidents and unexplained deaths that had earned the hotel a sinister reputation. It was against this unsettling backdrop, in the winter of 2013, that 21-year-old Elisa Lam, a Canadian student traveling alone, checked into the Cecil, unaware that she was about to become forever entwined with the hotel's haunting legacy. Elisa, a bright and adventurous young woman, had been chronicling her solo trip across the United States on her blog, sharing her experiences and observations with friends and family back home. Her posts were filled with a youthful exuberance, her words painting vivid pictures of her journey and the places she encountered. She had arrived in Los Angeles, a city pulsating with life and possibility, eager to explore its vibrant streets and iconic landmarks. The Cecil, with its central location and affordable rates, seemed like a practical choice for a budget-conscious traveler. But Elisa's online entries took on a darker tone after she checked into the hotel. Her usual cheerful demeanor seemed to fade, replaced by a sense of unease that seeped into her writing. Her final blog post was filled with a palpable sense of disquiet, as if she sensed that something was amiss. Days turned into nights, and Elisa's family grew increasingly worried. Her calls went unanswered, her once frequent blog posts ceased, and the young woman who had been so full of life had vanished without a trace. The silence from Elisa was deafening, a chilling indication that something was terribly wrong. Fear gnawed at the edges of her loved ones' hearts as they desperately clung to the hope that she would soon resurface, but deep down, a terrifying premonition began to take hold. Elisa had disappeared into thin air. The LAPD launched an investigation into Elisa's disappearance, but the case quickly hit a wall. Leads were scarce and the trail had gone cold. The Cecil Hotel, with its labyrinthine corridors, dimly lit hallways and transient population, seemed to swallow secrets whole, offering little in the way of clues. As days turned into weeks and weeks into months, hope began to dwindle. Elisa's family, their world shattered by her disappearance, clung to the slimmest threads of optimism, praying for a miracle that seemed increasingly unlikely. The mystery of Elisa Lam deepened, casting a long shadow over the city of Los Angeles and capturing the attention of a public hungry for answers in the face of a tragedy that seemed both senseless and inexplicable. Weeks after Elisa Lam's disappearance, the LAPD released a chilling piece of evidence to the public surveillance footage from one of the Cecil Hotel's elevators. The grainy black and white video, captured on the night Elisa vanished, showed the young woman behaving erratically inside the elevator. The footage quickly went viral, spreading like wildfire across the internet and fueling a maelstrom of speculation and intrigue. In the video, Elisa can be seen entering the elevator, her demeanor seemingly normal at first. She presses multiple buttons, but the elevator doors fail to close. She steps out of the elevator and peers down the hallway, her body language suggesting a mixture of confusion and apprehension. Elisa steps back into the elevator and again presses multiple buttons, her movements becoming increasingly agitated. She glances over her shoulder repeatedly as if she senses someone or something is nearby. The elevator doors still refuse to close. At this point, Elisa's behavior takes on a truly bizarre quality. She steps out of the elevator once more, but this time she positions herself in the doorway, her arms gesturing wildly as if she's engaged in a conversation with an unseen presence. Her movements are fluid yet frantic, her body contorting in ways that seem both unnatural and deeply unsettling. For a brief moment, Elisa steps out of the frame, disappearing from view. When she reappears, her demeanor has shifted dramatically. She seems calmer now, almost resigned, as she steps back into the elevator and the doors finally close. The footage ends with the elevator moving between floors, Elisa Lam never to be seen alive again. The elevator footage, with its eerie soundtrack of silence and the unsettling spectacle of Elisa's erratic behavior, sent chills down the spines of those who watched it. It was a haunting last glimpse of the young woman, her final moments captured on camera, leaving more questions than answers. Days stretched into weeks, and the investigation into Elisa Lam's disappearance continued to stall. The LAPD, despite their best efforts, seemed no closer to uncovering the truth behind the young woman's vanishing act. The Cecil Hotel, with its long history of darkness and its maze-like interior, seemed to hold its secrets close, unwilling to relinquish its grip on the truth. Then on February 19, 2013, almost a month after Elisa had last been seen, a gruesome discovery sent shockwaves through the Cecil Hotel and beyond, shattering any remaining hope that she might still be found alive. Guests at the hotel had been complaining for days about problems with the water pressure and a foul taste coming from their taps. Maintenance workers were dispatched to investigate the source of the problem, their search leading them to the roof of the hotel and the array of large water tanks that supplied the building. As one of the workers began to inspect the tanks, he noticed something strange. The heavy lid of one of the tanks was slightly ajar. Curiosity, and perhaps a sense of foreboding, compelled him to peer inside. What he saw would be forever seared into his memory. Floating face down in the murky water was the naked body of a young woman. The LAPD were immediately called to the scene, and it wasn't long before the body was identified as Elisa Lam. The discovery of Elisa's body in such a macabre and unexpected location sent a collective shudder through the city of Los Angeles. The circumstances surrounding her death were both bizarre and deeply unsettling, raising more questions than answers. How had Elisa gotten into the water tank? The tanks were heavy, their lids difficult to open, and the roof was generally off-limits to guests. Had she been placed there by someone else? The gruesome discovery of Elisa Lam's body in the Cecil Hotel's water tank only deepened the mystery surrounding her disappearance. It was a tragic end to a young life, and the circumstances surrounding her death seemed to defy any logical explanation. The city of Los Angeles was left to grapple with the unsettling reality that a young woman had met her end in such a bizarre and disturbing manner, her final moments shrouded in a veil of mystery that seemed impenetrable.